Welcome to the Heart to Heartland podcast. Here are your hosts.
Welcome back to part 2 of Aidan's interview. I'm Isabelle.
And I'm Soile. And if you
Yeah.
haven't heard the previous version, like go back now
Yeah.
because it was a good one. And this is gonna be a good one as well. So you want to hear them both.
And so please enjoy the last part of our interview with Aidan. And thank you again to Aidan for doing this. Okay, so out of all of the genres you've worked in, what's been your favorite?
Again, I'm the worst actor in the world because I'm just going to say any. I like doing something different each time because I think everyone likes a bit of difference going on in their life and to keep it spicy. But but no, Soile.
What is going on right now?
No, interesting choice of words. Okay.
I'm a Spice Girls fan.
Oh,
Spicy.
Yeah.
That's why you guys
Head
are laughing.
out
I
the
have no
gutter,
idea about the
Soile.
Spice Girls.
Head out the gutter. Boys. See, they're keeping it spicy over there. But no, I would say I did, when I first started, they always wanted me to be like dark and intense and like sci-fi shows. I did background on Star Trek, that new revamped version. And I only wanted to do it once, but they like booked me for the entire season because I've gained weight obviously since the pandemic, but before I was like maybe 40 pounds lighter than this. And so I was just a stick and really intense. So Star Trek were like, we'll have him. And literally for like an entire year, like I was treated like royalty there just because I was basically the thinnest person in town. But no, a show like that would be really fun, you know, like with all the computers and all that sort of stuff.
Sci-fi,
I would like that. But no, I'm not picky, to be honest. I'm just grateful that I get to do it. I like Supernatural, that sort of thing too.
Yeah, well, you've been on Supernatural, have you not?
Yeah.
You did an
That
episode,
was-
right? Because everybody else on the cast has done at least one episode too.
I mean,
It's
not
funny.
to discredit you, but who hasn't in
I was
Canada?
gonna say it's just the revolving door of television, Supernatural.
Yeah.
No, I played like a demon on that, so that was sort of fun.
Love that.
And I had to do like a fight scene on it, and I ended up getting killed, which I think everyone does, don't they, on Supernatural as well? Yeah, that was pretty much the butchest thing I've ever done because I had to do like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I even did my own stunt of jumping off the bar. And I think they
Oh
cut
my
that
God.
part of it, which was infuriating.
Rude.
So can you cry on cue or like?
I think I've done like short films where I've had to cry, but I think that's pretty terrible. I think I'd be better at it now because I've got more to draw upon. Do you get what I mean? Like years ago, I used to be one of those people that was like, I don't cry at anything. I don't cry at, or like if someone cried at something on telly, I'd look at them and be like, you're so weak. Like,
That's
but,
me.
but now I'm sitting here and I'll just be like watching a Housewives show and I'll cry.
And that's me as well. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're so happy.
hear-
like,
Yeah.
You hear
For
my
sure.
dogs tap dancing. I'm so sorry.
I love that. That's adorable.
Boys.
Is
Now
one of
in
your
Soile's
dogs-
way, they are
Really?
getting spicy.
is one of your dogs Billy Elliot or what's happening there?
Well, they need to get their nails cut. Can you come here, please? You don't want to go outside? -19.
So you've, like you obviously mentioned earlier, you've worked on Jan. Can you talk about that experience? Because that's
That's the
Interesting.
reason why I got the job on Heartland.
yeah.
As I said, that is the reason. That was, when was that? That seems like forever ago, but it really wasn't. I had no clue who Jan was at that point. And Jan, if you're watching this from anywhere else, is like a huge singer here in Canada. And she's been doing it since like the 80s. She had a number one, I don't know, but it was definitely top 10 in the US, like back in the 80s or whatever. And she has this comedy show, but I got the piece, the sides through, and I was like, well, this doesn't sound too funny, or like, who is this? Like, what is this? And then I turned up and I was like, oh my God, it's Jan Arden. And I was like, what? I thought she was just playing this character, but then on the call sheet it said Jan Arden. I was like, that's weird, that's her name. Like, what?
Yeah.
And then I found out more, and then I started to like fangirl the more I knew. and she loved dogs and all that. And so they had me back for season 3 and got to work with Michael Bublé, which was
Oh my god. So you like, did you get like pictures with him or anything, or did you just kind of
no, because it was during COVID and his son has some kind of autoimmune issue.
Yeah.
And so we all had to be pretty respectful of keeping our distance, because it was the height of COVID too, because that was in between shooting 14 and 15. So it was all pretty much at a distance, but apparently they're really good friends. And from what I got to, I mean, British people love Michael Bublé randomly. So it was probably the most exciting moment of my mother's life. But so to be really mean, I've still not sent it to her because she can't get Jan in the UK.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She's like dying to see it. And I'm like, no.
I would imagine that, you know, going in not knowing too much is almost better than knowing everything and be like, okay, calm yourself.
Yeah, because otherwise then I think you become a bit like, I'm pretty thirsty on social media because I know the game of what industry I'm in. Like, I don't necessarily always want to be thirsty, but I know you need to be. And if that comes across as, I know I love this word, but me and my friend joke about it, you have to be thirsty to get anywhere nowadays, because you have to interact, you have to be social, and you have to get a fan base, because it's all about numbers and who watches and drawing people in. I try and avoid knowing about the other people, but I will definitely, I can't remember what I'm talking about.
Just that, you know, going in, not knowing too much instead of knowing everything.
Yeah, so Michael Bublé, I knew he was in it because the producers phoned me and were like, who's Leah and Jenica, and they phoned me and were like, Aidan, there's this like small part for your character to come back. You don't have to do it because it's tiny. Because like the episode that I was in originally was bigger, but when they were like, come back, but it's more about Michael Bublé, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she was like, it's got Michael Bublé in it. And I was like, and there. And it was literally like half a day, but I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, I can make the coffee, whatever, like I'm in.
Yeah.
But again, he really didn't bother me because I wasn't that bothered by him. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was with someone that like I really, not that I don't look up to anyone who's in this industry who's been doing it a long time, but I always say it's probably best not to meet your idols. But you guys, haven't you met almost everyone on Heartland? And
yeah, they've been just as wonderful as I hoped. Best day of my life. They are the absolute best. Like, I could not have, like, meeting your idols worked out great for me.
That's true. I suppose Heartland is like that one-off that is the exception to the rule, because I've said that with the show because everyone's so nice. But if I met one of my idols, they'd probably be really horrible and ruin my dreams. So it's just...
I was scared about that though too, because like I put them on such a high pedestal, which obviously as a kid, like you really don't. And now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, that's a lot. But I was like 17, and I'm like, okay. But they ended up being just as wonderful as I hoped they'd be. So I was like,
my phone is so... Who is in that picture? Sean
and Jessica.
Oh, of course.
It's a family picture.
Aidan, what did you think I was talking about? God. Well, speaking of Michael Bublé and Jan, you also have your own very impressive music career. Do you want to talk about... Yes, you do, Aidan. Don't look at me like that. Do you want to talk about how you write and build up your songs? Because it's hard to make new songs because there's so many songs. So how do you keep it original?
Like when I was younger, I always wanted to be a singer. Always. But so I'd always be like the karaoke king and all stuff like that.
What's your karaoke song? Like your go-to?
Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way. Like guaranteed. Like guaranteed all the time. Like almost every time it came on, like my friend would be like, oh God, here he goes again. But
love that.
I get it.
I'd always wanted to do it, but then when you're not the best looking, you're not the blood, you realize that maybe that's not the road that you're going to go down. I went to university and scrapped all of that idea of living in the clouds. But then in between season 14 and 15, obviously it was the middle of the pandemic and I had money, resources and time. And I was like, wait, I've also got an audience. Not huge, but I've got an audience now.
Yeah.
And so that's why I tried to tailor it to country vibes, but with the pop authenticity that I could pull off. And so my friend was like, well, why not? And so I wrote World of Our Own and Heartland within like 2 days. And I knew if I sent it to my mum and she said, get a life, like I wouldn't do anything with them because she is my worst critic. I sent it and she was like, you're actually quite good. And I was like, why do you sound so surprised? And the way I wrote those was I downloaded loads of different software. So basically, I did music as GCSE, which is like high school.
Yeah.
So I understand like chords and how to read and write music, but never had I ever like composed a song. So it was down to like beats and you sort of just like layer it up and it was playing with it. And then honestly, World of Our Own was the first song and I literally just wrote down phrases of lines of songs that I've loved over the years and threw them on the floor and picked them up and put them in a line. And that was how the song was made. Like, it doesn't even make sense if you listen to it.
But it's brilliant at the same time. Like,
But then-
clearly.
And Heartland was, obviously, I wanted it to be about Heartland, but not actually about it, if you know what I mean, because then I didn't want copyright issues or anything like that.
You're like,
So
Jack's riding a horse.
exactly.
Like, you can't put that in.
So I just
Jack,
wanted it to
not
be about
Bartlett.
going home or what it means to people. And I just knew that the melody had to be higher and had to be catchy. And I just tried to make them all catchy.
Yeah.
And and then I had my friend Max, who's Swedish, who lives in London, who then helped me with a lot of like the tuning of the track and doing everything like that. And then I had my friend Logan here in Toronto, where I went and like laid it all day. It was actually quite, not to talk musical artists down, but it was pretty easy once I'd done like 2 or 3. That's why I couldn't stop. But now I've stopped. And I was going to do a new record next month, but I just don't know if I need to build my audience more because you make no money. Like you make no money.
It's ridiculous.
From it nowadays. And so as much as I love it, it costs money when you're recording these things.
Yeah. You're really gotta love it to make, do that.
Let's hope you're in Heartland a lot next season so we can get another album.
Well, I'm definitely going to do like one. But people are probably going to hate it because I want to do like a real pure poppy one.
Oh no, do it. I'm up
But you
for
know
it.
when people like do like an album and people love them and then it's always like the second album.
Yeah.
And it's more what they want to do. And I'm pure just going to be pretending like I'm a 20-year-old pop star.
It's your pop
Like
era.
Spice
Like,
Girls.
what
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yeah, it's your Spice Girls era.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to, I have to do one more just so I can be like, okay, is this worth doing or not?
Yeah.
But it's been well received as far as it could be. Do you get what I mean? Considering my reach,
It's been
it's done really well.
incredible,
So,
yeah.
I mean, I wish the show would have used it. And there was whispers of that, but it didn't come to fruition. So me not bitter, me move on.
Not bitter.
Doesn't surprise me that you have someone from Sweden doing your music because, Eurovision, they always win.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Melody Festival or whatever is on next month and I'm so excited. Sorry.
So speaking of your music or your acting, like who are your biggest influences, like artistically?
We don't know.
I mean, we know, but do they know?
My biggest influences throughout my entire life from when I was like 10 or not, I can't remember how old I was, but I remember being at primary school and this was a clear sign and alarm bells for my mother because I was Victoria Beckham. Me and 4 girls, and we were doing Say You'll Be There in front of the whole class. And I think all the boys were sitting there like, what is going on?
Oh my God.
Because I was like, I was even doing like the finger from the video and everything. But the Spice Girls were a huge, I don't know what it was about them, but not understanding who I was, where I fit in a very working class, single parent family of where I went to Catholic schools. It was pretty dog eat dog, like I had to put on a facade. Strangely, I was popular. I don't know how that happened, but I obviously was a very good actor back then. But they were sort of like my solitude. like their power of empowerment and their individuality.
Yeah.
And why I've always drew back on them is because they've always been very self-deprecating in saying they're not the most talented in the room. Like they've all said, a lot of us can't really sing, we can't really dance, we definitely can't act. But they've had like a worldwide box office movie about themselves where it's terrible, but they made it and it made money. They've sold over 100 million. Sorry, I know quite a lot of facts about Spice Girls, but they've sold over like 100 million albums around the world. And for people that can't, if you listen to them back, as much as I love them, like you can tell they can't sing.
But it's about the, you know, energy and.
But like, it's the mess. And so if Victoria Beckham, who was told she can't dance and she was too fat, is now this was like back in dance school, back in Maidenhead, actually, at the, I'm like the biographer.
Oh my God.
For her to now be where she is proves that, of course, yes, you have to have an opportunity and some luck and to be in the right place, but it's not all about the talent or the way that you look. Like it's just about hard work, drive, and ambition. And being surrounded by people that share that same vision. So that's why it's so important to be surrounded by people that get you and champion you and support you, because that's what they did for each other. And they are still, as much as I like to think, friends. And so just their whole story has always captivated me in my life. And then if there was anybody else, it would be Jennifer Lopez, because she's amazing. If I was straight, she'd be mine, or if I could be a woman, I'd be her. And plus, again, she admits she's not the best singer. She's not the best actor. She is the best dancer, but she said dancing was her forte, and everything else sort of just slotted in. And when she had that opportunity, so I always go for underdogs. As much as these people nowadays don't seem like an underdog, Victoria Beckham and Jennifer Lopez were underdogs. They weren't the best in the room, but they proved all the other people in the room that they won, didn't they? So that's what I hope I can have any amount of how they approach their life, because I feel like that's how I am an actor, because I am not the best and never have been. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still learning the craft of it all the time. I look back and think, what were you thinking? Why didn't you do more research on that? How did you not know this? But I'm still here doing things that I went to an acting class with someone maybe 7 years ago when I tried to start doing this properly, and they still haven't booked roles. And why is that? Because they were better than me at acting. They truly were. They were phenomenal actors. But I'm not a victim and I get on with it. You know, and you've got to be positive.
And if you're right for the role, you're right for the role. You know, there are different reasons to be, you know, it's not always
it's that individuality.
It's
exactly. That individuality, Soile, of bringing who you are to the role, because actors tend to try and fit into what they think a show wants or to copy someone else.
Exactly.
Rick in Heartland is like nobody else. As much as there was an idea of what he should be like, that is me in that set of circumstances, reading somebody else's lines. But that is me, because nobody else can actually be exactly like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that sounds corny, but that is the only reason you book a role, when you look like this. Like if I was chiseled and like a hunk, fair enough. Then you book because you look hot, and it doesn't matter if you speak in Swahili, you're going to book it. But with me, you've got to bring a bit of jazz.
But I would imagine, I mean, you know, if you get a role for something like, oh, you have a nice jaw, or like those blue eyes or something like that, it's kind of like, okay, but what about, you know, the rest? Like, does it matter? Like,
but I think the majority is like that though, sadly.
Yeah.
Not in the UK, but that's why I know if I went back home to try and act, I would never book a role, because everyone's not, I don't want to say unattractive, but everyone's not polished.
Yeah, that's what I love about the UK shows, because people are so like, you
it's
know,
about
that
what
person
you're bringing to it. It's, what's the word, relatable, it's approachable, it's real. Whereas American Canadian shows can tend to be more glossy, which is why people like me find it hard to be slot into some of those shows, because I'm never going to be the stereotypical gloss. But I think it's about this character's shown that you don't always need to be glossy, do you? Because it still fits. It's because we've been accustomed to think it doesn't fit. I prefer to be slightly ugly and funny than really hot and just dumb. So I'm gonna go for that.
God.
I'm trying to put a positive on it.
Gotta be positive
While I
sometimes.
cry in the mirror, I'm like, "Ooh."
Oh God. I wouldn't be crying if I had those brows, so
Well, but I mean, they weren't there in season 14, but
I have to go back and look because
did I miss something?
okay, I'm
that
gonna
was
read.
due to being divorced and traveling the country, and I was literally at the mirror going like, why is this happening?
You gotta take your anger and frustration out on something, I guess. Kiss your eyebrows. We're the victim.
But yeah, I can never watch season 14 ever again because of my
God.
eyebrows.
Okay, now I have to go back and look just for that. Just for
Bear in
that.
mind, we were in the lockdown and all of like the eyebrow places were closed, so I had to do it.
Yeah,
Fair
you were
point.
like, okay, does anyone need their eyebrows black?
Yeah.
Because I can do it.
My first comment from being on the show was from someone random going, slow down on the eyebrow pencil. Like that was my first ever comment about being on Heartland from a fan.
I don't
So
think
thanks
I
whoever you
get
were,
it.
because in all fairness and hindsight, I agree. It was, but there was no eyebrow pencil. It was legitimately my brow.
I was gonna say those are just your nice brows, nice thick full brows. Like you're just
But
hashtag
it was
blessed.
half the size.
Oh my God. I don't. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm not remembering.
100. Honestly, they were so bad. But luckily they've grown back, so.
So for our last question, and then we'll wrap this up. And I know you donated to oh my God, I'm
the
drawing a
Humane
blank.
Society.
Thank you. In Toronto.
Yeah.
So what other acts of charity do you support? We can add it to, our description, the bio here.
I know obviously people rule the world and we should always be looking after our own, and I get it. I completely get it, but I don't care. I only literally go for animals because I like to think of those without a voice.
Yep.
So I suppose I could translate that into other charitable organizations, but I'm more completely about animals. So I mean, I don't know if you've ever had, I like the Housewives and Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Never heard of
There's
that.
Lisa Vanderpump, who is a fellow Brit, and she has this big advocacy with Yulin, which is a dog meat trade in China. And she's got this big foundation, the Yulin Dog Trade, and you'd have to go to lisavanderpump.com. And she rescues thousands. And I know people are like, oh God, is there not better things to be worried about? Well, no, not in my opinion, because there's enough to eat in this world. So we don't need to be chopping up chihuahuas because, so just things like that, when I see animals that are really being mistreated, it just really winds me up. It really gets on my nerves. And I think there's something quite psychotic about people that are okay with things like that.
Yeah.
I get people eat chickens and cat. I get it. We're not going to change that. But if we do that in the most humane way, if people are going to consume that, then I'm never going to change humanity. But we don't need to start treating animals like they're pieces of poo-poo on the floor. It's just weird. So anything like that that supports animals getting rescued, the Humane Society International, not only Toronto and Canada, they have a great Instagram where they take behind the scenes footage and they go to places in third world countries and have a look at how the animals are being treated and rescued. So if you've got any spare change, Gil, dogs, or you can just send it to me because I've got loads of dogs to feed. All right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Agreed. Oh, he's so cute.
See?
Oh,
what is it? Oh my God. Wait. Louis can speak Finnish. Wait, what is it? Wait. Hyvä ilta.
What does that mean?
It means good night or like good evening.
Oh, I love that. Because it is good night for her.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then, wait, Pablo. Moi moi. Is it moi moi?
Yeah. That's
Moi,
kind
moi.
of like creepy because that's good.
And then, wait.
Oh my God.
Hey, hey.
Oh,
He's so
They're
cute.
the
Oh
only
my God.
3 I know. I'm sorry.
was it the
I
video?
know the 2 dogs, but no more phrases that I know.
Did you post a video of him a couple of days ago, like over the couch or something? Was it him?
Yes.
It was. Oh my gosh, so
Well,
cute.
that's because I don't know if I told you, but I've been doing a bit of home
Yeah.
renos. So I took down this intersection. It sounds really
Doot,
intense.
doot.
But I've got like this archway now into the dining room. So now I never used to be able to see into the living room from there. But now the dogs, every time I go into the kitchen dining room, they're now over the sofa looking at.
Oh.
So I didn't really think that through.
That's
but yeah,
adorable.
they're very cute. Very, very cute.
Well, thank you for taking time to do this. Really appreciate it. And we
Time
love you, and
flew,
we hope that we
girls.
get a season 16.
Definitely.
Oh my God, I know. It's been like, oh
Well,
my
as
God,
soon as
yeah, it's
I'm
been a few
allowed to
hours.
tell, if I hear any information, I will let you guys have the exclusive as long as I don't
Scoop.
get fired.
Of course not.
You'll
You
get the
probably stop
scoop.
recording then.
But yeah, I will definitely. I can't wait to watch this. When is it out? Saturday.
Yeah.
I know, I'm excited too. I can't wait to watch this back. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh my God.
And I can't wait to see all your posts from the set because I love those videos you did with Michelle,
Yeah.
like the lip sync.
But I'm trying to give like a gap because I understand that people can get too like annoyed. Do you get what I mean? Like I understand some people want me to post more, but there's like that happy medium where I know I'm trying to give people a break, but then I also need to stay relevant. So I hope they hurry up and get the new season so I can be like, hi everyone, where is Carl?
If it were up to me, I would be like, okay, can we like daily like break down like what's been happening? But you know.
Well, I would try again. I'm very self-deprecating, and when I've gained a little bit of weight, I just don't want to go on camera. Genuinely, the reason why, if I was like fit and healthy, I'd be on Instagram all the time. Do you feel me, girls? Like I'm just
yeah. I mean, this is terrifying for me because I'm documenting my like how I look every week.
I
and I'm
like to post nature for
gosh.
that reason. It's nicer to
Now,
look at. So.
it's
love
no coincidence that I wear hoodies on these things because they cover everything.
I'm a hoodie fan myself. Yeah.
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 So it's great. Right, girls. Mwah.
Love you. Thank you
This
so
was
much.
so much fun.
Yeah.
And I will speak to you both clearly very soon anyway. And I can't wait to see the episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Love you. Bye, bye, bye.
And that was our complete interview with Aidan. I had so much fun. Thank you so much for doing it to Aidan and to, I guess we're going to have another guest on next week. So stay tuned. We'll see you next week. And until then,
keep your noses clean.
And your powder dry, as they say. See
Sorry,
you next week.
Sorry, that was so out of tune, but yeah.
Yeah. It's been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a day.
Bye.
I love you.